Check, test, 1, 2. Check. Yeah.
Hello and Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
So nice to see you all on this Erev Shabbat. Hope that you have been enjoying the cool weather outside. And I don't know if you were involved in any sort of technological instruments, but they all went out today. I don't know if you know that, but half the world went out with all levels of types of electronics. I think 8,000 flights had to be rerouted or canceled. I think the UK stock exchange totally went down, I think so. And all because of Microsoft, I hear. So they had some kind of update or something. So
They
If
didn't
you-
pay their McAfee virus.
That's true.
Yeah,
They
that's-
didn't think the thing. It pops up on our screen all the
Yeah.
time, and we're up to date on our virus scan, and they couldn't figure. Look at you with the joke right off the bat on the cancer, Muchnick.
So 2 weeks of vacation.
Impressed. Yeah, 2 weeks of vacation. I know. Look at that. So nice. So yes, I hope that you don't work in that industry, because if you do, then it was a complicated day. It even affected us. Just so you know, some of our programs we're not working today. So very, very interesting how that all reliant on one little program or something that runs so many things. It's a good lesson for us that we're not going to learn, because we're going to do it again. But other than that, I hope that you had a lovely day and that you were excited about entering Shabbat and letting go of all of that. And maybe you had a beautiful week and you want to hold on to the residue of that beautiful week and move it into Shabbat to make your Shabbat even sweeter. Maybe you had a rough week and you want to shed that week and move into the sweet 25 hours coming up, or just a regular week. You're just here to hang out with us, which we love. We're happy that you are here. If you don't know, once again, Cantor Muchnick, Rabbi Keller, we're thrilled that you're here. Shachar is going to be here. Shachar, who is our Shinshinit, she's been with us all year long, is going to be here with us for her final time before she goes back to Israel. So she's going to speak from the Bima. She's going to share a little bit about her experience, and also you should make sure to give her lots of hugs, because to send her on her way. She brought other Shinshinim with her, so you should hug them too. All hugs for the Shinshinim, because they're also returning to Israel, and so they have been serving here in this county and in Broward County, and there are probably others that we don't know about, but we know about you three. So lots of hugs for the Shinshinim. And so if also this is your first time or your 100th time, check under your seat for the Siddur. That's where your Siddur should be, your prayer book. Reach underneath there. Make sure that the cover of your book says Shabbat on it, because in this room particularly, sometimes they say weekday and festival. Make sure you don't use a weekday and festival one. Make sure you have a Shabbat one. Other than that, we're excited that you're here, like I said, and we're moving to our service. We'll continue with the lighting of Shabbat candles, which can be found on page 2. We're going to invite Susie Glatt to light our Shabbat candles for us. אשר קידשנו במצוותיו וציוונו להדליק נר של שבת. Amen. Thank you, Susie. We are going to continue to sweeten our space. We officially have now begun Shabbat with the lighting of Shabbat candles, but now we can sweeten this 25 hours with the words of Kiddush. They can be found on page 5 in your Siddur. Page 5.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei piri agafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho v'ahava v'ratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh b'reishit. Ki hu yom techila mikra kodesh zecher letziat Mitzrayim ki vanu בחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. Amen.
There's a new bottle. It's fresh. It's delicious from the, what's that year that you're looking for? From the vineyards of Welch's.
It was vintage.
I love that. The vintage of the Welch's. It's like from yesterday. It was just freshly picked and bottled. It was delicious. We're going to continue with Psalm 96 to help bring in our Shabbat. Psalm 96, Shir Adonai, Shir Chadash, page 13. Page 13.
Shiru Adonai kol haaretz, Shiru Adonai shir chadash, Shiru Adonai kol haaretz, Shiru Adonai shir chadash. Sing unto God all the earth a new song. I will sing unto God a new song. Sing unto God and we'll all sing along. All the earth a new song unto God. Shiru Adonai kol haaretz, Shiru Adonai shir chadash. I will sing unto God a new song.
We continue now with Chatzi Kaddish that can be found on page 26.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, בלמד דברכירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומייכון, ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בגלה ובזמן קריב ויאמרו, אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך, לעולם לעולמי המאיה יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם יתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקדושה בריחו לילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה תמירן בעולמה ויאמרו Amen.
We continue now with our call to worship with Baruch Hu, page 28, and together we stand.
Lai, 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 lai. Adonai ha-mevorach, Baruch hu et Adonai ha-mevorach, Baruch Adonai ha-mevorach le'olam va'ed, Baruch Adonai ha-mevorach
we thank God for making night. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim b'chokhmah poteach she'arim ובדבנם השנאיתים ומחליף את הזמנים ומסדר את הכוכבים במשמרותיהם ברקיע כרצונו. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on the evening Baruch atah Adonai ha'ma'ariv aravim. Let's continue on page 33 at the bottom, and we can alternate paragraphs. Wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol. All these things your Torah gives to us, and the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives. What could be a truer token of your abiding love than this holiest of your works and living language that gives it form? Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael. 34-35.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed.
Please be seated. We continue V'ahavta on page 36.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך מהיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Adonai Elohechem emet. Let's turn to page 39 and read that top paragraph together. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there's a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there's no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together, Song of Redemption, Micha Mocha, on page 40.
Kodesh, Torah Tehilot, Ol Seif Elef.
ונעמה כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגולו מן החזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts. We may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai hapores sukat shalom aleinu v'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim. We continue Hashkivenu on page 42. We continue now with the Amidah on page 46, and together we stand.
Adonai sifatai tiftachu fi yagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Koneh HaKol, V'Zocher Chaste Avot Ve'imahot, U'Mevii Gilha Livnei V'neihem, Leman Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer Moshiach U'Magen, Baruch Atah Adonai, Magen Avraham Bezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh Kol Atarav Lehoshia, Morid Hatal, Mechalkel Chaim Bechesed, Mechayeh Kol Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim Verofei Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayeh Memunato Lishenei Afar, Michamocha Bal Gevurot, Umido Melach, Melech Mimit Umechayeh, Umatzmiach Yeshua, Ben Neman Atah Lehachayot HaKol, Baruch Atah Adonai, Mechayeh HaKol. Atah Kadosh v'Shimcha Kadosh, U'Kedoshim b'chol yom Yehalalucha Selah, Baruch Atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh.
We continue silently now, beginning here on page 52 through page 62, reading through the remainder of the Amidah, or taking some time for yourselves to reflect and continue with a silent Amidah, again from 52 through 62. When you're finished, please be seated.
Shalom bimromav, uyase shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru amen.
So like I mentioned at the beginning of the service, can't believe it's been an entire year that we got to share Shachar. And so can't believe that the time has passed so quickly. But, you know, she has to do other stuff. She's got to go to Israel. She's got to serve in the military. She's got to save the world. She's got a lot of work to do. And so she can't just stay here with us the whole time. After she does all that and saves the world, she can come back maybe and hang out with us. But until then, she's a very busy schedule she'll have to attend to when she gets back to Israel. And so we have to let her go. But it is our pleasure to invite her to the Bima on this final Erev Shabbat. Come on up here, Shachar Buchnik. Did I do it right? Yeah. It only took me a year to get it right. And so we are thrilled that she's here to share some words with us and to chat with us and to talk to us. Yay, Shachar.
Shalom. Hello. For those who don't know me yet, my name is Shachar. I'm a Shinshinit, young emissary from Israel. Right now, I'm in a gap year, and soon I'll go back to Israel to serve in the military. I'm volunteering in the Jewish community here as part of the Jewish Agency and the Federation of South Palm Beach County. Unfortunately, this is my last Shabbat service here before I'm going back to my home, Israel, to serve in the IDF, the Israeli Army. So I would love to summarize my incredible year. Before I came here, I didn't really know what to expect. I didn't really know what does it mean to be Jewish outside of Israel. I was so excited to start my journey here and to learn more about the community here, about Boca Raton, and about what is it to live a Jewish life in the US. At the beginning, when I just got here, I was amazed by the big Jewish population here, and right away I felt that's a safe place. When I started to learn about the population, and I realized one important thing. It's not just a population, it's a community. I heard a sentence that I immediately connected with, and it said, "It's one thing to be part of an organization, but it's a different thing to be part of a community." Community in Hebrew is keilah. It means a group of people that share the same values, and in this community, the value is Judaism. In the interpretation, it doesn't say anything about it. Everyone needs to be the same, and that's the amazing thing about it. We can all be so different, live a different lifestyle, believe in different things, but at the end, there's one thing that connects all of us, and it's the Judaism. And it's enough to make us all feel together. I love to see the community here, the acceptance, the way that each and every one of us showing the connection to the Judaism, and that everyone can find their place, that everyone feels they belong. And that's exactly how I felt when I got here. I felt belong. I felt part of a community, and I was so lucky to feel part of it. And now, it's hard to leave this community, to leave so many people that I met during my time here. I want to thank you all for being an amazing part of my gap year, for listening to me and for sharing your love and support to Israel, for being such an incredible community that made me feel so belonging and so proud of my Israeliness. Toda. Thank you for all your support in Israel and for sharing with me your stories about it. I want to personally thank the Jewish Agency, the Jewish Federation of South Palm Beach County, and to this amazing congregation, to the rabbis, to the cantor, and to all of you for the opportunity to stand here in the Shabbat services and to share my Israeli story. It's been such a meaningful and powerful year for me, and you all guys are definitely part of it. So, soon, I'll go back to Israel to see my friends and my family, to go to Jerusalem and to pray for our hostages, to breathe the air of Israel, and to serve in the military as a tank instructor. I know that Israel is deep in your heart, but never forget that you are also in the heart of Israel. Shabbat Shalom. אני רוצה להישאר. I want to stay. I wish.
How about you stay or we'll all go to your house? How's that? Does that sound good? It seems fair. You were here with us. We'll go hang out at your house. Do you think how your parents will feel about that? I've met your parents. They might be like, this is fun to have everyone here with us. Yay, that's so great.
Are you giving a sermon too?
What's that?
Are you giving a sermon?
I am. So, sorry. So what you don't know, by the way, is that Shachar not only gets to see us on the Bima, but throughout the year she's also worked in a religious school. So she's been here on several occasions. She knows our kids. They all know her. They all love her. She's been with our youth group. They know her and they love her. So besides just having the luck and the excellent opportunity to have her on our Bima for all these Shabbatot and other celebrations, she's also got to hang out with our teens. And so they are all going to miss you too, and they all are sending their love. And so we hope to see you back really, really soon here in this home, and then for us to go visit your home also. So thank you for all of your time here and your love and your care and your smile and your joy and your happiness, and for bringing some Israel into each one of our lives. So thank you so much. We are honored that you've been here with us, Shachar. Cantor Muchnick got up here to play some music, and then he sat down unhappily because he asked, "Are you also going to speak?" And I said yes. So sorry, Cantor. I'm also now I have a 55-minute sermon I'd like to give all of you for the first part, and then the second part another 45 minutes. So get comfortable in the seats. Snacks are waiting for you outside. So in 2001, Mike Myers, John Lithgow, and Eddie Murphy were in a movie together. Do we know what that movie was? Yes? It was Shrek. Well done. Well done. And so Eddie Murphy was playing one of my favorite characters, and that was what? The donkey. Yes, the donkey. And as Mike Myers was saying it, every time I see the movie, I can't say donkey anymore. Now, almost every time I say donkey, I say donkey, because of how Mike Myers was saying it. And so Shrek has a wonderful place in our hearts of this magical donkey. Could not be played better than Eddie Murphy, who had a better voice and kind of a screechy, kind of irritating, great presence on the screen. And thanks to that movie, there's been like 700 other Shreks. Aren't there been like 3 at least? 4 Shreks? I don't know. And they were all pretty good. So if you know anything about Shrek and the movie of Shrek, you know about Donkey, you know that he was a talking donkey, and that if you make the connection that in this week's Torah portion called Balak, there is a talking donkey, actually in the Torah. He does not sound like Eddie Murphy, and he does not have that accent like Mike Myers would, but there's still a talking donkey in the text this week. The Torah portion is called Balak, and it's interesting because most of the Torah portion is not about Balak. It's about another guy named Bilam, which has a very close name. So there's Balak and there's Bilam. And Balak is noticing that the Israelites are really strong because we're traveling in the desert and we're doing very well, and he wants to fight the Israelites, but he's nervous. So he hires Bilam, because Bilam is a sorcerer, and says to Bilam, I want you to go and curse the Israelites before I fight them. Because if you curse them, likelihood is higher that I can win. So he hires Bilam, and Bilam goes to speak badly about the Israelites. And so the story, which you'll hear more tomorrow if you come to Torah study, you can just stay, by the way, until Torah study. It's at 9 o'clock in the same room. What you'll hear more is that there's a donkey that's carrying Bilam up to the cliff top to look down at the Israelites and to curse them. But the donkey gets almost to the cliff top and stops going, because an angel stands in front of the donkey and says, "No, I'm not letting you do this. I'm not going to let you curse the Israelites." And so the donkey is not moving, and Bilam starts to hit the donkey. And while he's hitting the donkey, God puts a voice through the angel into the donkey's ability to speak, and turns to Bilam and says, "Stop," essentially. So Bilam gets very nervous because now there's a talking donkey. And so he gets very flustered, and the story goes on. I'm not going to give you the whole thing. You have to come tomorrow. I'll leave you in suspense. I can tell you're in suspense anyway. I can tell you're on the edge of your seat. Is Machnik awake? Yes. All right, good. Okay. So, great. So, there's this great moment. But while Bilam is standing and overlooking the Israelites, and he does this a couple of times, by the way, but the first time he does it, he says something really beautiful. He says, "Wow, this is a people that dwells alone," he said, in a beautiful way. And he uses the word levadad, or bidud, which means alone. And he says this is a nation that sits alone, because all the view that he saw was the entire valley of all the Israelites. Probably 502,500 males, so probably 1.2 million people were sitting in this valley, and he gets to see it, and he has this overwhelming, this is where look at the Israelites, where the people, they dwell alone. It's actually a beautiful moment. But I want to ask you, is that a good thing? Do you think that we are alone? Do you think that the people of Israel are alone? Okay. Just alone, I'm asking. So I'm asking if we dwell alone, if it's good or it's bad. And I have a couple of thoughts for you. One is if you're watching the news. So if you're watching the news, you saw two simultaneous interesting events happening in the last 24 hours. One is yesterday morning, at around 4 o'clock in the morning Israel time, there was some kind of incident that no one knew initially what it was. It was an incredibly loud explosion in Tel Aviv, very close to the U.S. embassy. So around 4 o'clock in the morning, an enormous blast, didn't know what it was, didn't know where it came from, slowly figured out that it was some kind of a drone attack from the Houthis, and the Houthis the Houthim are essentially Iran, Iran-backed from Yemen, and so there was this drone attack that made an enormous explosion, killed one Israeli, injured at least 10, and caused property damage and glass to blow out everywhere, and people were covered in glass. And so I ask you if we're alone. I ask you. And then I ask you at the same exact time, by the way, only a few hours later, while they sat around and had cappuccinos, because it was described what they were drinking, the UN, and not just the UN, but the ICJ, the International Court of Justice is what they're called, decided that Israel was in fault, actually, and that there was some kind of an illegal international situation with Israel because of their, quote, occupancy of the West Bank, of East Jerusalem, and of Gaza. So at the same time that Israel was covered in glass and there was a massive explosion in Tel Aviv, the UN didn't decide to have a conversation about that. They sat and had coffee and discussed the territories that are illegal that are run by Israel. And so I ask you if we're alone or if we're not alone. And then I'll throw this in. The irony of maybe not so irony is that all this is happening, it's Erev Shabbat, and on Tuesday is the 17th of Tammuz. So we're in the month of Tammuz, it's the Hebrew month. We're also in the month of July, the Hebrew month is called Tammuz. And so on Tuesday is going to be the 17th of Tammuz. It's also known as Tzom Tammuz. Tzom means to fast. It is one of the minor fasts that the Reform movement doesn't usually engage in. We don't usually engage in minor fasts. We're not a big fasting movement, except for maybe Yom Kippur. But it is a minor fast, and a minor fast means it's only from sun up to sundown, as opposed to a big fast that's from sundown to sundown. So it is a minor fast, and why do we do it, and what's significant about the 17th of Tammuz is that that's the day the Romans breach the walls of Jerusalem. Because 3 weeks later, the temple falls. So Tuesday is the breach. And then 3 weeks later, the temple falls. And so it's believed in more traditional circles, by the way, that this is sometimes called the 3 weeks, because there are 3 weeks that are very heavy and difficult, and there are no weddings, and there's a lot of complicated things for if you're a little more observant. And so, does that make us alone? It's close. This was the breach. This started the whole thing. The second temple falls. The Romans tear it down. It's the destruction of the temple. And so I ask you, are we alone? And if we're alone, is that so bad? Or is it not so bad? That is what I'd like for us to think on this Shabbat. But I'd like for us to think about something else. And that is this. Bilam walks up this mountain. He encounters a talking donkey. He stands there, he overlooks the Israelites. He notices that they're dwelling alone. But he is so entranced by them that every time, by the way, he goes back to talk to Balak, his boss, Balak keeps saying, "What are you doing? Every time you come back, you tell me how great the Israelites are. Every time you come back, you say, I pay you money to go and curse them. And every time you come back from your little trip over there, you tell me they're wonderful, they're alone, they're connected, they're a community, they're wonderful." And Balak is furious. What am I paying you for? And finally, the last trip that he goes up. And this is when Balak doubles down the amount of silver that he gives them and says, no, now I want you to go. This is it. Go there, curse them, I'm getting my army ready, and we're going. And instead of the curse, because he's so overwhelmed with the beauty of the alone, he says the words that we're going to say tomorrow morning, which is why I want you to stay for services, because it's at the beginning of the service. We're going to open with the liturgy that we say every single morning, and not just us, but every other synagogue on the planet is going to start with the words of Ma Tovu, Ohalecha Yaakov. How beautiful are your tents. How beautiful are all of you. How beautiful is this nation that I'm looking at. That the alone is not alone like by yourselves. Alone is this powerful, wonderful, connected group. And we're going to read those words tomorrow morning. And so I invite you on this Shabbat to think of this aloneness, but also think of, by the way, the words that we said earlier that we didn't even notice because we do it every week also. That's on Friday nights, and that's the words of Kiddush. Because it says, we say, Kivanu v'charta, because you chose us. You chose us. You chose us to be a little bit different. You chose us to figure out how to maybe be a little bit different, a little bit special, a little bit holier. We say it every Friday night, holding that Kiddush cup. We say it every Friday night. Kivanu v'charta, because you chose us. And so maybe the aloneness isn't that by yourselfness, but the connectivity. And if you're not feeling it enough, then let's work harder. Because that's what our job is. Our job is to make this Loneliness, not lonely, but special and holy and connected. Because I'll tell you what, the UN doesn't seem to be thinking much about us, particularly not today when they could have not done it this morning when they knew exactly what happened hours earlier. I'll tell you that for sure. And I'll tell you that the drone strike that was not a mistake, or maybe was a mistake, unclear, to also be so close to the U.S. Embassy. Also for us to think about. And so I invite us all on the Shabbat to appreciate the words of Kivanu Vachalta, the words of you chose us. We're the chosen people. And that doesn't mean that we walk around saying like, ooh, we're the chosen people. It's harder. It means that we're the chosen people, so now we have to work harder to make ourselves the chosen people, to make ourselves stronger and more connected. And so I wish all of us a Shabbat filled with holiness and connectivity and community, and how beautifully Shachar also said the beautiful word of connecting, not just a community of people, but a kehillah that transforms and transcends, not just people who sit together, but people who dwell together. Shabbat Shalom. Speaking of our community and our kehillah, we think of those who are in need of healing. We think of those who are in need of healing, physical healing, emotional or spiritual healing. At CBI, we're thinking of Michael Alexander, Noah Applebaum, Gary Bendel, Tori Bendel, Paula Brisbane, Joseph Berg, Carol Berger, Terry Bobrow, Diane Browernick, Gwen Bullock, Sophie Bullock, Maxine Burstein, Fran Butwin, Shana Call, Janet Cohen, Sanford Cohen, Les Cole, Scott Cohen, Peter Davidson, Marcia Davis, Mark Davis, Beth Durham, Phyllis Eisenberg, Mona Elfand, Alan Carmice, Stuart Gottlieb, Jordana Hirsch, Donna Hirsch Grossman, Ira Kafka, Shirley Kafka, Naomi Kirstein, Michelle Kingan, Patty Kitt, Nancy Kramer, Russell Winter, Howard Manass, Isaac Margulies, Darlene Mintz, Lydia Nahum, Barbara Newmark, Louise Olesnik, Danielle Peskin, Laura Petrella, Carol Porowich, Elliot Porowich, Alexandre Ramos, Daphne Rechavia, Michael Romero, Julius Rosenberg, Howard Rosenbluth, Eileen Rosengard, Etta Rubin, Kathy Ruggiero, Joshua Levi Salad, David Schwartz, Mel Schwartz, Susan Mo Schwartz, Joan Seidman, Ned Shanloff, Patty Shanloff, Danielle Shaw Beal, Karen Seeger, George Silver, Helen Silverman, Robin Soblik, Nelson Soto, Diane Spiro, David Sterling, Christine Sesnak, Sandy Tankus, Norma Uziel, Davida Avital Warshanger, Dave Weiner, Bobby Wider, Leslie Winthrop, Roseanne Youngstein, Miriam Yeshua Bat Bela Dina, Zev Aryeh Ben Chana Leah, Naor Ben Dalia Rivka Mirella Bat Gittel Yosef Shmuel Ben Levi Yitzchak Mordechai Avram Ben Malka Dvora Bat Sarah Shimon Ben Shoshana Avigail Bat Simona Zahava Ben Yosef Ben Tzipora. To those names, we had any name that you'd like to add at this time.
Mark Recklin.
Mishaberach can be found on page 253, 253. Some announcements for us on this Erev Shabbat. Be a mitzvah maker. Please continue to help us keep our little free pantry stocked with non-perishable goods and personal hygiene items by dropping them off in the blue bins in the admin circle. July 28th, which is next week. Yes? Does that work? Yeah, next week. Is our summer Chardonnay Shabbat. So come and join us for special oneg following services with wine and light bites. Yay. 26th. Great. Next week. It's next week. It's a week from today. You can also just stay for the week, and then you'll be here. Rabbi Silvers is hosting a 2-part coffee and conversation class, 11 a.m., the 31st, am I right? And the 7th. I think we changed the dates, but I think those are right. The 31st of July and the 7th of August. Join him as he discusses the 7 mystical creatures found in the Torah and Tanakh over a coffee and bagel, like all conversation should be had. Coffee and bagels. On August 5th at 10:30, join your fellow blanket buddies as we assemble no-sew blankets for hospital patients and those in need in our community. We have lots of stuff coming up in the fall, so here are just some quick save the dates. Here we go. On save the dates, August 18th at 3:30, we are having our annual Back to Shul event with food trucks and a DJ and much more. So mark your calendar, that's August 18th. August 18th. On September 18th, mark your calendars, at 7 p.m., Am Yisrael Chai, that is our brand new Israel auxiliary. We've had a lot of small events, and we have some other smaller events leading up to September, but this is our major kickoff event. We are having, it's called Debunking Israel, with a woman named Rachel Stern. So join us for a conversation about filtering the media narrative to combat anti-Semitism, and also light bites and wine, just to make sure that we're feeding you. And there's so that's on September 18th, and that's Am Yisrael Chai. On November 16th, we'll be celebrating our 40th year, 40 years here at CBI with a Ruby Gala. So make sure that you look out for that. And I think that's all of the announcements, except for the several announcements that Cantor Muchnick has for us right now. And there they were. Excellent. Those were usually his announcements. So fast, you couldn't even hear them. It's like the speed of sound. There it was again. We begin to conclude our service with Lenu and Kaddish, page 282. Together we stand.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו משתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו echad.
We think of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, those who died at this season in years past, and those whom we have drawn into our hearts with our own zichronam livracha. May their memories be for a blessing in the period of Shiva, the immediate 7-day mourning period. We think of Sandra Davis. In the 30-day immediate mourning period, Shloshim, we think of Marcy Novik, and our yortzites that occur for us this week. Binyamini, Lillian Gelfand, Zelda Crosher, David Newmark, Martin Cantor, Herbert Cannon, Erwin Kravitz, Ethel Ehrlich, Barry Beloff, Lillian Mayer, Eugene J. Alton, Sally Rosenthal, Louis Zeiden, Joseph Einhorn, Alan Israel, Morris Feig, Calvin Delano, Florence Werner, Marvin Joseph, Elliot Kerchak, Beverly Rosenbluth, Abraham Silverstein, Martin Davis, William Yasby, Albert Furing, Sarah Wallach. To those names, we add any name that you'd like to add at this time. Kaddish Tom, Owner's Kaddish can be found on page 294. Yitkadal v'yikadash shemei Rabbah ve'alma divrach chirutei ve'amlich malchutei v'chayechon v'yomechon v'chay l'chol beit Yisrael v'agala v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shemei Rabbah mevorach le'olam olmei olmaya yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ah v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitale v'yitala shmei likudesha brichu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata ta'amiran ba'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlomo rabba min shamaya v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav u'yaseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us and to all Israel. As together we say, amen. Please be seated. We are going to do a little motzi. Yay? Ooh.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen.
Delicious. We are going to conclude with Shalom Aleichem, which can be found, I believe, on page 24. 24, Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharetz, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei
Shalom. May God give strength unto our people, to bless us with hope and strength and love and peace. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Shabbat Shalom.